In 2017, Henderson Land Development bought a just under 31,000 square feet plot in Hong Kong Central Business District for the equivalent of $3 billion, the highest land valuation in history. Yet it is out here that the battles of tomorrow might be fought. Far from the bustling cities and high-rise buildings. This is how the rural became stage for an epic conflict of interest. In many ways, the rural didn't exist before urbanization really took off. Much like landline telephones were just telephones until mobile units took over. The rural is often measured with urban glasses. In early days, rural areas were equivalent with wilderness and something for humans to conquer with weapons and technology. Even though we today might have changed that to lightweight tents and technology. The wilderness was this way to a great extent cleared of dangerous animals and plants, and any indigenous people that happened to be there already. With urbanism, the rural became a place of vacation, of tourism. It became a destination. The countryside is seen as a place for the family and for children. It is a place unaffected by all the problems and stresses of city life. With fresh air, beautiful scenery and a slow pace, it is the perfect place for relaxation and recovery. It is even the preferred recipe for doctors throughout history for the stressed. The increased car ownership in the US in the 20th century led to many families visiting national parks for weekend getaways. In many ways, this can of course be economically good for rural communities, but often it might also interfere with life for those who happen to live in areas that now, by the majority, is just land of vacation. The countryside closer to major cities is also evolving with the city development. A fast-growing city is engulfing larger and larger areas within its metropolitan area, and with improved communications, areas further from the city center is available within commutable distances. This means that rural areas can be overtaken by city dwellers wanting to get further out to reduce cost and live in less congestion. This brings prices up and can force people away. Human life is very different in Irkutsk and Buenos Aires, in Reykjavik or Johannesburg. In general, we are drawn to places that are successful, where the economy is growing and opportunity arises. And that population growth feeds additional economic growth. But without a high population increase overall, if some places increase in population, others will decrease. Whether that is people moving from Western China to Eastern China, from Eastern Europe to Western Europe, or from the countryside to the city. The population decline in most rural areas of the world has transformed it. Industrialized agriculture sparked the start of urbanization in the 1800s, but it has continued with larger farms, more expensive equipment, and increased yields per acre and per human. Now as few as a couple of % of the total population working in agriculture is enough to feed the entire population. The rural has become a food production site, with truck after truck ready to bring pints of milk, packets of cereal, and crates of fish into the city. But the city needs more than just food to thrive, and the countryside is standing ready to deliver on all sorts of goods and services to the cities. Oil, gas, and electricity is followed by cement, wood, asphalt, textiles, and all other kinds of stuff that's used by the urban population, is harvested, dug up, cut down, and refined elsewhere. Despite all this richness in sought-after resources, the rural is also associated with poverty. From many urban perspectives, this poverty is seen as self-imposed. With lower incomes, seasonal and uneven access to work, and high levels of unemployment, rural poverty levels are in many places higher than urban poverty. And while some costs are also lower than in cities, many costs associated with traveling or energy and water use are not. Rural settlements are spread out and of limited reach for societal services. Distances to the nearest grocery store, hospital, school, or job opportunity can be anywhere from inconvenient to laughable. The rural is also, much like the suburbs, associated with less anonymity than the city, and is in the US associated with few people of minorities. For young people, the distances demanding car ownership can limit freedom and bring on isolation from other children and teenagers of similar age. Women can experience the same if they lack the same economic and social elbow room as men. So what is the rural, really? Well, it's a place of conflict of interests, for sure. For some, it is a place for recreation, where nature should be preserved and owned by us all collectively. A place that should stand as contrast to the highly developed urban areas and offer experiences freed from human intervention. For some, it is a place for activities close to nature, to hiking, fishing, hunting, camping, canoeing, climbing, skiing, horse riding, swimming, and so on. For some, it is a place of private ownership. It might be a place for owning a smaller second vacation home, to be visited occasionally. For some, it is a place of quietness. For some, it is a place of four-wheel driving in the dunes. For some, it is a place of industry and resource extraction. It is a place of vast forests to be used for forestry, large lakes and rivers to be exploited for the fishing industry, for mining for oil and minerals. Should it be used for wind power plants or military activity? For agriculture or nature reserves? For mining or land for indigenous groups? For archaeology or nuclear testing? The rural is no longer forgotten, if it ever was. For the nations that have it, it can, and already do, play a central role in the prioritizing that is politics. But while these large-scale conflicts rage, maybe we should make sure to not forget that a lot of people also see it as their home. And those people, indigenous or not, might not have the strongest voices to speak with when such powerful interests are involved. Cities have centralized human living, sometimes to a ridiculous level. But it has not taken away importance from the rural. The rural is essential for city living, for its ability to produce goods and services, fuel and electricity. But its role as the untouched, the beautiful, and the quiet is also essential. With such a diverse set of capabilities and opportunities, the rural has become a place of battle. A battle that will not be quelled anytime soon. Thank you for watching.